What's up, Lakers fans? Hope you're all doing great because we've got a lot to talk about today. The Lakers have been moving pieces around again, and this time it's in the G League. Now, I know what some people might be thinking. Who cares about the G League? But let me tell you, that mindset is outdated. The NBA and the G League are becoming more and more connected every season. The Lakers in particular have made it crystal clear that they see their G League affiliate not just as a side project, but as a real part of their long-term strategy. And this latest move shows exactly that. So let's talk about what happened, who the Lakers picked, who they traded for, and why all of this actually matters for the big picture in Los Angeles. So here's the deal. The Lakers walked into the 2025 G League draft holding the number 1 overall pick, and they used it to select Dillon Jones. If you don't know much about Dillon, he's one of those players who doesn't jump off the page at first glance, but has a lot of the tools you love to see in a developmental piece. He's tough, has a good motor, and can defend multiple positions. Kind of gives off those Jordan Goodwin-type vibes, a guy who can come in, bring energy, and do the dirty work. Not a star, but a guy who can make winning plays. So when the Lakers took him, it felt like they were adding another versatile piece that could potentially grow within the organization. But before fans could even get used to the idea, the Lakers turned around and traded him. Yeah, just like that. They moved the number 1 pick, and that definitely raised some eyebrows. Now, the trade itself wasn't just a throwaway move. The Lakers managed to get some future draft picks in return, and they also added a player named Will Richardson. That's where things started to get interesting. Will is a 6'5" combo guard who can handle the ball, create for others, and knock down shots. He's not a freak athlete by any means, but he's smart, he's crafty, and he knows how to use his body to get into the right spots. And if the name sounds familiar, that's because this isn't the first time the Lakers have shown interest in him. Back in 2022, they actually worked him out before the draft, so he's been on their radar for a while. It seems like they've finally gotten their hands on him, even if it's through the G League route. But let's put things in perspective here. Will Richardson is 26 years old. That's not exactly young for a developmental prospect. By that age, most players are pretty close to who they're going to be. Sure, some late bloomers figure things out around 27 or 28, but for the most part, you know what you're getting. That's what makes this move interesting. Dillon Jones was younger and maybe had a bit more upside long-term. Will feels more like a guy you bring in because you want some immediate production or at least a stabilizing presence on your G League roster. So when I look at this trade, I don't really see it as a we like Will better than Dillon type of thing. It feels more like a strategic decision, getting extra picks and a player who can help balance the system right now. The thing with the Lakers lately is that they've been putting a lot of emphasis on creating a real farm system, similar to what you see in baseball with teams like the Dodgers. They don't just want to rely on free agents or blockbuster trades. They want to have a pipeline of young, affordable players who can step in when needed. With the new collective bargaining agreement making roster construction trickier, finding value in the margins is more important than ever. You can't just go out and stack superstars anymore without paying a massive luxury tax bill. You need to be able to find those 7th, 8th, and 9th men who can contribute on cheap deals, and the best way to do that is through development. That's where the G League comes in. And that's why this kind of move, even though it doesn't make big headlines, is worth paying attention to. The Lakers are investing in their future in a way that's smarter and more sustainable. You look at teams like Miami, Toronto, or even Golden State during their dynasty years, and one thing they all had in common was their ability to develop players internally. Guys who weren't big names at first, but turned into solid rotation pieces because the team had a system in place to help them grow. That's exactly what Los Angeles is trying to replicate with its G League affiliate. They want that constant flow of talent moving between the developmental team and the main roster. You get a guy up to speed in the G League, maybe give him a 2-way contract, see how he performs in practice or garbage time. And if he clicks, you've suddenly got yourself another contributor without breaking the bank. Now, in Will Richardson's case, he's more of a known commodity. He's a combo guard who's comfortable playing on or off the ball. During his time at Oregon, he showed he could hit from deep. He even had a season where he shot over 40% from 3. In the G League, he's hovered around 38% on nearly 5 attempts per game, which is solid. Not elite, but definitely reliable. Defensively, he's got length. His wingspan is around 6'10", which allows him to guard multiple positions, especially ones and twos, and even some small forwards when needed. He's not the quickest guy laterally, and he doesn't have elite explosiveness, but he makes up for it with positioning and awareness. He's the kind of player who can fit in next to stars like LeBron James or Austin Reeves without demanding the ball too much. He can space the floor, play within the system, and defend his man. But again, the question remains, does he actually have a path to the Lakers' main roster? If I'm being real, probably not. It's not that he's bad. It's just that the Lakers already have a lot of guards in development. They've got Nick Smith Jr., who they're clearly trying to mold into a rotational piece. They've got players like Chris Mannion, who's been working hard to earn a shot. There's only so much room on the depth chart, and was already older than most of those guys. So, realistically, he's probably going to spend most of his time in the G League. But that's okay, because that's part of the bigger strategy here. Sometimes these trades aren't about the player themselves, but about the flexibility they give you. By adding Will Richardson and those extra picks, the Lakers have more assets they can use down the line if an opportunity comes up to grab a player they really want. It's all about options. This is what a lot of fans don't always see when they look at moves like this. It's easy to look at a G League trade and think it's meaningless, but in reality, it's all part of a chess game. The Lakers are setting themselves up for future possibilities. Maybe it's a mid-season trade for a rotation player. Maybe it's flexibility in the draft. Or maybe it's just about having more tools to evaluate talent internally. Whatever the case, it's a sign that the front office is thinking ahead. They're not just focused on the stars. They're thinking about the structure behind them, the development pipeline, the future. And if we zoom out a little, you can really see how the league itself is shifting toward this model. The NBA is encouraging teams to build stronger ties with their G League affiliates. They've added extra two-way spots, made it easier to keep rights on certain players, and given teams more incentive to invest in development. It's not like before, when any team could just swoop in and take your best G League guy. Now, there are more protections in place, and teams like the Lakers are taking advantage of that. They're setting up systems that allow them to identify, train, and keep talent before it slips away. So yeah, on the surface, the Dylan Jones trade for Will Richardson and a couple of picks might not seem like a huge deal. But when you look deeper, it's part of something bigger. It's about building a foundation that keeps producing talent and flexibility year after year. It's about not just living in the now, but thinking 3 moves ahead. Because as much as everyone loves to talk about stars, championships are also built on depth, development, and smart decisions behind the scenes. And that's exactly what the Lakers are quietly trying to master. Another layer to all of this is how the Lakers are approaching team building under the new rules of the league. The days of simply relying on star power to carry you through an entire season are gone. The modern NBA is about depth, versatility, and finding ways to squeeze value out of every roster spot. That is exactly why these G League moves matter more than they ever did before. The Lakers' front office understands that with the collective bargaining agreement tightening spending limits, they need to hit on low-cost contributors to balance the books while still staying competitive. Developing a consistent pipeline from the G League to the main roster is their way of keeping that balance. It's not just about having stars like LeBron James or Anthony Davis anymore. It's about making sure the supporting cast is strong, young, and ready to fill gaps whenever needed. What I really like about this new approach is that it shows the Lakers are adapting. A few years ago, they were one of those teams that didn't put much emphasis on the G League. They would stash players there, but rarely invest in development or continuity. Now, they're taking it seriously. They're scouting players earlier, giving them meaningful reps, and aligning their G League coaching philosophy with the main team. That way, when someone gets called up, they already understand the playbook, the defensive schemes, the pace, and the expectations. It shortens the learning curve. You can see the structure starting to take shape, and even though it might not look glamorous, it's how you build sustainable success. In Will Richardson's case, that's why he's still a valuable addition, even if he never plays a real minute for the Lakers in the regular season. He's part of the experiment. He represents what the organization is trying to do. Identify solid, professional players who can fill multiple roles, stay ready, and create a culture of competition and growth. Will's been through the college grind, he's seen high-level basketball, and he knows how to play within a system. He's not going to be the flashiest name in the gym, but he's steady, coachable, and confident enough to lead younger players in the G League environment. That kind of leadership matters. When you've got young prospects trying to make a name for themselves, having a player like Will in the mix can set the tone for how the team operates. But the other side of this move is the Lakers' growing obsession with ball handlers. If you look at their roster construction lately, there's a clear pattern. They've stacked up on guards and wings who can handle, shoot, and defend multiple positions. Players like Austin Reeves, Gabe Vincent, and even Nick Smith Jr. fit that mold. They want creators who can play next to LeBron, not just spot-up shooters waiting in the corner. They're building a system where anyone on the floor can initiate offense, make reads, and take pressure off the main stars. That's why someone like Will Richardson still makes sense in theory. He's got the versatility to fill in different roles without changing the team's dynamic. Still, I can't help but think this trade was more about flexibility than fit. The Lakers didn't trade Dylan Jones because they didn't like him. They traded him because they saw an opportunity to add future picks. Those picks might not sound exciting right now, but when you have a few extra draft assets lying around, it gives you options. At the end of the day, this is what good franchises do. They plan ahead. They prepare for every scenario. They understand that success isn't built overnight, but through 1,000 calculated decisions that all point toward one goal. Will Richardson might never become a household name, but his arrival represents a mindset shift that could define the Lakers' future. They're learning from the league, adapting to the times, and investing in growth from within. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Moving on, the NBA world is buzzing with speculation, and Los Angeles is at the epicenter of the latest earthquake. Rumors have been swirling for weeks, but now, the whispers might be closer to reality than ever. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the reigning superstar of the Milwaukee Bucks, could be heading to the City of Angels. The mere thought of the Greek freak donning the iconic purple and gold has Lakers fans dreaming big, and the NBA landscape potentially facing its next seismic shift. Sources close to the league hint at discussions that could reshape not only the Lakers roster, but the entire balance of power in the Western Conference. Imagine Giannis running alongside LeBron James, combining sheer athleticism, unmatched versatility, and relentless drive in a partnership that could make the Lakers an almost unstoppable force. While no official confirmation has been released, insiders suggest that the front office has been quietly working behind the scenes, exploring every possible scenario to bring one of the league's most dominant players to Los Angeles. Social media is ablaze. Every post, tweet, and comment speculates about what such a move could mean. Championship contention, blockbuster trades, and a new era of Lakers dominance. Fans are already envisioning highlight reels of alley-oops, jaw-dropping dunks, and game-winning drives with Giannis and LeBron orchestrating chaos for opponents. Meanwhile, analysts debate the feasibility of the deal, salary cap constraints, roster logistics, and the Bucks' potential countermoves. But the excitement remains palpable. Whether this is a calculated leak, a trial balloon to gauge public reaction, or the real thing, the chatter isn't slowing down. Sports bars, online forums, and even casual conversations are filled with one question. Could Giannis actually join the Lakers? For now, it's all rumor, speculation, and hopeful dreaming. But in Los Angeles, hope is a currency, and the idea of the Greek freak in purple and gold has fans already counting championships. Stay tuned. If this rumor becomes reality, the NBA as we know it may never be the same. Stay informed exclusively about Los Angeles Lakers news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep receiving daily updates. Also, share your opinion on the news in the comments, as your contribution is crucial for the Lakers. Stay tuned for the next video.